Storytime. Random storytime with BrainGate. This is a time where I read from my brain. So, once upon a table, there was the big, fat, mighty, great blue elephant. Eventually the table broke, and they had to go look for new adventures. They had never been outside of the table before, but they were now on a quest for food. So, they had never seen food before, because they didn't need food. The table they lived on had was magical and made them immune to starvation. So now when the table was broken, they had to look for food. So they started by going to New Mexico because it was the closest. Actually, the table was situated right between here and there. So you see where I pointed, right? Okay then. Well, okay. So, in New Mexico, they could simply dig a hole down to... Well, excuse me, princess. They dug a hole, and they said, I am an elephant and I'm digging a hole. Dig a hole! Dig a hole! And eventually they reached, oddly enough, not China, but they dug in a circle, so they ended up in New York. But they dug back in time, so they were meeting other elephants, they thought, but in actuality they were mammoths. And also they were meeting other mammoths, but mammoth tanks from Red Alert 2, because they had traveled back in time also. And they were all wondering what they were going to do, because none of them could find any food. So they were chit-chatting amongst themselves, and were actually thinking of having some kind of a tea party, but they could not find anything to drink either. So no tea, no Coca-Cola, no cocaine, nothing that you could put into your body in any way. None of them were cannibals, so they would not dare to think of eating any of their own kind. So what they did was genius. They actually became vegetarians. And they decided to eat some mushrooms in the nearby forest. And because the mushrooms were pretty poisonous, only one of them got to eat anything, so because they had to test it out, and the smallest elephant had to try it out. I know, you should not laugh at that. Bad. Not comedy at all. But the small elephant became very sick and started to throw up its own intestines, and some of its brains fell out. But it was okay, because the elephant was not very bright anyway. And they thought of another way to survive. They would simply go to the ocean and drink some water. Little did they know that in the past, because remember they had dug back in time when they dug the hole to New York. So in that time period, the oceans and lakes were all very poisonous because the world had been through a nuclear war, and well, the mammoth tank, the smallest mammoth tank, had actually had to try to drink the water because they all thought that letting the smallest elephant try that out as well was a bit cruel. So the mammoth tank tried to drink it, and it was very poisonous, but since it was a tank and made of metal, it survived because it was just water, and it could not drink it anyway. So they all laughed and bashed their heads together and started to bleed, and they all died happily together, except for the mammoth tanks. They started to shoot each other in the butts. So everyone else died happily ever after, and good night from BrainGate's brain, and until next time.